Hey guys, Pyro here. I just want to make this little rant video. I've been playing a lot of casual recently, a lot of Team Fortress 2 in general, and we haven't had an update in a while. But I thought I'd go into depth on changes that I'd like to see to the game, having played this game for so long, and just the problems I see with it right now. I guess I'll start with the class-based stuff. So first off, I have Scout. Scout's a bit strong, but I think he's fine. A good Scout can take over a game, especially in casual. But I do think that right now, Scout is in a fine spot as is. The only thing I'd say is the Sun on a Stick. There's still no reason to use that item. It could use a small buff. I like the item a lot, but compared to the Boston Basher or the 3-Rune Blade, whichever one you use, I definitely think that there's no reason to use the Sun on a Stick over any other melee. The Sandman could use some love as well. Without the stun, I don't think the health nerf is as necessary as it should be. But anyway, let's move on to the Soldier. The Soldier, I feel like he's just really good at everything and doesn't have any real weakness. One thing that I absolutely hate in this game is when I'm playing and then I die around the corner or something to splash damage, and it's fine if I was low or something, but Soldier just kind of seems to do big amounts of damage without shooting anywhere near me. I'd say reduce damage done by the splash damage of rocket launchers across the board, with the exception maybe being the Liberty launcher. That could be its grab. I'd say move it to a more reduce it at the edges, and then as you get closer to the where the rocket collided, make it do a bit more. I think that's how it's already done, but it's just it's still too much in my opinion. It needs to be a little reduced. Next up, I'll talk about the Pyro. Pyro has this weird problem right now where, for the first time in the game's history, W plus M1ing is really the premier way to play him. There's really no reason to use any combo weapons. The degreaser, in my opinion, is not worth it. I'd much rather have the flamethrower, the stock flamethrower that does more afterburn damage, and have a secondary weapon that swaps faster, like the panic attack or the reserve shooter. There's really no reason to use the degreaser at all, and I think that Valve should promote the more combo centric weapon types. Just like the extinguisher, maybe the back scratcher could be a neat combo weapon if played right. So maybe reduce some damage from the flamethrower. And I would say the one weapon in this game that I hate the most is the Squirt Shot. I think it's the absolute worst weapon design Valve has created since the Ambassador. But people love the Ambassador. I don't think anyone loves the Squirt Shot. That weapon's just... it can kill a sniper in 2 hits before the sniper can really react to the knockback. And it's not like it's a hard weapon to aim like the flare gun. The flare gun you can kill in 2 hits too, but you have to actually aim it. The detonator isn't as good. I think that they should nerf the Squirt Shots, either damage further or nerf the afterburn duration, because right now that afterburn duration just kills anything that it's really stupid, and that weapon makes no sense to me. It has so much utility with the knockback. It has good damage still. You don't trade damage for utility. You still kill snipers and scouts in 2 hits, and it's not hard to use. It's just a flawed weapon in my opinion, and I'd like to see it nerfed. Moving on, I think that they should lower the Power Jack's move speed. Right now, that's probably the premier Pyro melee weapon. There's no reason to use any other besides the Home Wrecker, and that's only if you're like a Pyro, or you like playing that supportive role with your buddy with an NG. I think that the power jack should have its move speed reduced, and then it should be fine. I think it's a decent weapon as is. You die faster when you have it out. It makes sense, but I think you go a little way too fast, and I think it puts it above all the other melee weapons. I'd also say to fully just rework the third degree. The meta kit thing is neat. What you could do, since it's just basically an upgrade to the stock, you might as well just you could buff its damage, but lower its firing speed. That way you can whack the heavy twice and kill the medic or something. It'd be a neat little interaction, but it would take longer to get that kind of damage out. I don't know. I'm just coming up with stuff off the top of my head here, but I do think the third degree needs something different about it compared to the other melee weapons, because like I said, there's no reason to use it really, just like there's no reason to use stock. Demoman, my bread and butter, my pride and joy. I think that the Iron Bomber is way too easy to aim up close because of the arc is different. I'm not sure exactly how the arc is different, but it's different. It seems straighter and it seems easier to land, in my opinion, than stock. I think it needs something different from stock. So I'd say just to cut off the little edge it has over stock, in my opinion, they could reduce the range, the range of the projectile. Since it is supposed to be a heavy projectile, it shouldn't go as far as a stock projectile without aiming it properly. But other than that, I think that the loose cannon is a problematic weapon. I remember it might have been a few years ago at this point, who knows, they nerfed the lock and load because it one-shot scouts, and they were like, oh, we can't have it one-shotting scouts. They did that stupid thing where scouts lived with 1 HP for a while, and I don't know, with that design, with that weapon design saying that's not good, they should honestly address the loose cannon, because it does the same thing. And it's not like people make this weapon out to be the hardest grenade launcher. You gotta be up close, you gotta land it perfectly, time it perfectly. The thing's hitbox with the knockback is so powerful. I don't understand why people think that it's a hard weapon to use. That thing can stop an Uber in its tracks better than a Pyro can with an air blast. It can it one-shots most classes. If you you don't even have to aim it like people think they do. You don't have to time it. You can kill them pretty easily just by spamming the thing. I think they need to work on its spammability, maybe decrease its attack speed, or decrease its damage. One of the two has to go. I do think that the utility the weapon provides shouldn't let it... I can't talk. It shouldn't allow the weapon to they shouldn't allow the weapon to one-shot with all the utility that it provides. Moving forward, the Quickie bomb launcher, I think, is busted. I don't use it out of principle. I think it's... The 4 stickies in the clip is fine, but you don't need more than 4 really in any situation with that weapon. And I like the idea of having a sticky bomb launcher focused on the sticky spam aspect of it, because you have the Scottish Resistance. You have it as the kind of premier camping sticky bomb launcher, so this should be the combat one. Yet I don't like how they added it to where you can sticky camp with the Quickie bomb. I think that should be removed again. They used to dissolve after a certain time, and I liked that a lot. I don't know why they got rid of that. Even so, I think it's really strong. They should probably look into decentivizing camping with it. The Skull Cutter, the Scotsman Skull Cutter, fine weapon as is. My one complaint is a higher range weapon like that, because it has the extended range that all the swords have. It shouldn't have random crits. it already does enough damage as is. It shouldn't random crit, and unless they flat out remove random crits, which I think they should personally, they should at least make the weapon not have random crits to balance it out, I think. And lastly, my baby, the Persian Persuader. I missed that thing. It seems like they really wanted it to be an in and out type of Demoman sword, where you charge, you kill a guy, and then you get your charge up again with the splendid screen, so you can charge out. So I'd say like maybe give it some sort of damage resist or slow resist while charging, and maybe you could reduce the damage the damage resistances you get when you're not charging to make up for it. But like, I don't know, it's just weird how, I don't know, it's weaker than it was, and I wish that the Eyelander wasn't the tippity top of the Demonite tool belt. Moving on, Heavy, he needs a rework. I think he's probably the most balanced class in the game. There's nothing too strong or too weak about him. I think he fits just right. His power is a reasonable level for his mobility, which is fantastic. I just think that they should do the Heavy rework like they were planning. Make him a little more three-dimensional, because right now you kind of just, you know, charge your minigun up and, you know, mow people down. It makes you feel like a raid boss, which is really cool, but like, I don't know, he's just not as interesting as the other characters. There's no real depth to his gameplay. And I love Heavy. Don't get me wrong, Heavy mains out there. I love Heavy. He's probably my 4th favorite class. But like, I don't know, he feels a little one-dimensional to me. Engineer. I think that NG is fine. The Engineer is a great staple class in the game. The only problem I have is the Short Circuit has that primary fire that really does nothing. I don't even use the primary fire. I don't know why it's there. So either like remove the primary fire from the Short Circuit and just make the little ball be the only thing about the Short Circuit, or give it a little better range, a little more clear damage, and have the particle, have it to be where you can actually tell where you're aiming, because right now it's just kind of out there and you don't know what it's hitting. So either one of those I think would be a good change to the Short Circuit and make it a great weapon. Other than that, I think all of Engineer's weapons are fine. The Jag might be a little strong, but it does have its downsides. So I think it's fine. Medic, I really dislike the strength of the crossbow. I wish that the other three primaries were more useful. Something like the I don't even know the name of that one red one. The Overdose, that's the one. The Overdose is meant to be a utility while you're healing with the move speed, but it kind of I can't talk today, sorry. It kind of got canceled out with that weird like change they did where you match the speed of the class you're healing, and I don't think it's that worth it. And I'd like to see them add something onto it to make it a little more like, hey, I know I'm not going to use this primary much, but it's going to help me while I'm healing. Maybe something like you get better control in the air for strafing. You know, that would be kind of neat, because sometimes you get launched up by a soldier and then you're just kind of dead meat. If you had kind of better air control with that thing, it'd be kind of more interesting as a weapon. And Blunt Soldier I think is fine. And I know that the Medic's needle gun has a higher DPS than the Medigun, the minigun, my mistake. And so I think that those two weapons are fine. I think the overdose needs to be changed, and I think there needs to be less of an emphasis on use the crossbow, like they've kind of been hinting at in previous patches. I also think the amputator needs a buff. The thing's kind of weak, and you're not gonna ever use the like aura healing thing that they like gimmicked on there. So maybe, and I like the fact that you heal more with it while it's out, but I don't know. I think it needs something, because like there's no reason to use it over the Uber Saw in my opinion. Sniper, Bushwalker Jarate. is another example of bad game design in my opinion. The sniper is supposed to excel at long-range combat. Long-range combat is the sniper's bread and butter. There's no reason that he should excel in close range whatsoever without managing to hit his melee or his SMG. The SMGs are weak for a reason. You're not supposed to be running around killing things with it. So I think Jiraiya Bushwalker definitely needs to be nerfed somehow. I think that the sniper should get a health penalty when he has the Bushwalker, in my opinion. I don't see any reason for him to have a one-shot that's so low effort close range. If he aims down the scope and quick scopes you, that's a different story. The sniper was good in that situation. But, you know, throwing a jar of piss at someone and then hitting them with a kukri, that just, I don't know. There's no reason for him to have a one-shot close range at such low effort. So if you're going to have that, you should have some sort of downside rather than, I think the current one is you take more damage or more fire damage. I forget which one is current. Because I stay away from that weapon like the plague because I think it's stupid. The only time it's acceptable is when you use the Cleaner's Carbine, which I think you should get the mini crit buff through doing other damage rather than just with the Carbine. It might make it a little strong, but the Carbine is just kind of worthless compared to like the stock SMG or like a Razorback or some other backpack. Lastly, the Spy. I think the Spy is fine. They fixed the Dead Ringer in my opinion. They incentivized other watches. The only problem I would have is that his revolver kind of does too much damage in my opinion. And I've seen a large increase of spies that just kind of run around with the revolver now. You know, I think they should kind of tackle that back and try to, I don't know if they could even nerf stock weapons at this point, but I do think that the stock revolver does a lot of damage for what it does. I mean, there's really no reason to equip the Razorback on a sniper because they're just gonna shoot you 3 times and you're dead anyway. Other than that, the only multi-class weapon that I don't really care for much is the base jumper. I think that they did a stupid thing by making it to where you can only deploy it once. Maybe give it a charge system with like 3 charges or something, and once you deploy it like 3 times you can't like deploy it again. I don't know. Right now I just think that there's no reason to use that on either the soldier or the Demoman. The Demoman especially. The soldier's a little better with it than the Demoman, but even then it's only for Trollger or Airstrike. But other than that, the game is fun. I don't like random crits. I don't play competitive. I can't speak for that. I think the Q is stupid. I've heard people say that before. But other than that, those are all my things that I would change about the game right now. Other than that, the game is fantastic. I love every class interaction that I've had. And I will continue to play this game in the future. Thanks for watching this, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you whenever I decide to make another video. Later.
Okay. Oh.
Whoa, even in randomizer you can't